Today, we're speaking about health versus wealth. To me, health is more important than wealth because wealth, you can almost always get up. It's never ending. You can always build upon it. But if you're 80 years old, 60 years old, 50 years old, and you have never worked out your entire life, all you've eaten is trash, you're never really going to be as healthy as you could have been. You're going to be in dire straits when it comes to your health. And my brother here, who's a young, healthy man himself, has at one point been arguably fitter than me. And his opinion is different than mine. You say that wealth is more important than health. Is that true?
I do. I think that this gentleman's 22 years old, right? It may not have a full outlook on life. I'm a 37-year-old man. My thought process is if we take somebody that has nothing, right, but is in great shape, but financially doesn't have anything, and give them $1 million, it's more likely for them to gain weight because now they have this money where they have so many options that they could do. But if you give someone who already has $1 million, that person who already has the wealth but doesn't have the health, they could lose weight because they're already used to having money. So I think money changes people. The person that doesn't have money but gets money, they're going to change, and it's more likely they're going to be around more people with money and go out to eat and have these meetings, and they could gain weight. The person that already has the money, all they're going to do is probably lose weight because money isn't as important to them as the person that's in shape that doesn't have the money. That's my thought process.
So do you think that one holds a higher value? I mean, it's an interesting topic because money is not something that you can tie down. $100,000 today is going to be different valued than $100,000 in 10 years. You can buy less with it most likely, versus being able to run every day, being able to sleep well, being able to eat correctly without problems, just being a healthy person that can move freely and not have impingements, pains. I think that you can't really just buy that, whereas money, it's easy to come and go. Just like health can come and go, but it's harder to have happen, right? Anybody can get hit by a car or something like that, but for your health to degrade, it takes time and consistently doing something that's going to hurt you. Also, when it comes to building up your health, it's going to take time and consistency building yourself up. Mm-hmm. So ultimately, do you think that one is more important than the other, right? So let's say that you could have $5 million right now, or be in the best shape of your life, guaranteed for 10 years. What do you think is more valuable to you?
I think it's going to be the money. Because if I get the $5 million, right, that means I have the money and I can work towards being in better shape, right? So fun fact about me is that I actually lived in a homeless shelter. I was in great shape, right, but didn't have anything to offer. During that time, I didn't think about food because I didn't have the money to even think about it. So food wasn't, something that I would think about, like, oh, I want to go to this best restaurant, or, oh, I want to get fast food. Like, I couldn't think about that because I didn't have money to think about it. So I was always in great shape because I was doing things that I enjoyed, but food wasn't something that I could just think about having. I could play basketball because there's parks everywhere to play basketball. I could play football. I could go running. I could do lots of stuff, right? I was broke, didn't have a lot going on, so I didn't even think about food. Now let's bring me back to that same, athletic person who now has $5 million that you asked me, right? I guarantee you I would start thinking more about food and what I'm eating and places I want to try, and I would start gaining weight. But if it was reversed, I had $5 million right off the bat to start, right? And I'm not in the best shape. I believe at some point just knowing my personality and who I am, I will work towards getting in shape because I already have the money. So it's going to be easier for me to lose weight. Where if you don't have the money, then you gain a lot of money, you're going to be trying new things, and I think that it's going to be a high possibility of you gaining weight if you just got a large lump sum of money that you never had before.
I agree with Ashley Dasfit. She says both are equally important. If you aren't in a position to afford healthcare, your health will decline. I think that's true because anything can get your health low. Not being able to eat good will get your health low. Not having a good bed will affect your health. Not having medicine when you're sick some kind of way can affect your health. I think that it's easier, like I said, to gain money, but fitness is something that not a lot of people want to put forth effort to. And a lot of people, I think, I can't speak for everybody, but I see people, I think the statistics say that as you get older and as you get more money, a lot of people's health goes down the gutter. Because that's where they put their value, that's where they put their solidarity in who they are. Just like a brother. Mm-hmm. I am this person because I have this. I am this person because I drive this, because I can go here, do that, or do this. But when that same person or when somebody else in their position, like a lot of Americans, most people are overweight. When people who are not fit or healthy even, when they can't run around the block and just be happy about it, I think they can say, oh, I'm happy, but in reality, if you can't even experience life just by yourself, you need to smoke the best Zaza, you need to have the best car, you need to have drinks, you need to go to this club to experience happiness. I think that person's actually really poor in the mindset. Like, you may have cash money, but in life, happiness, appreciation, and experience, you don't really appreciate the small things because you're always looking for the next best thing. The small things don't satisfy you anymore. Just being able to walk around happy and healthy and not be tired isn't an experience for you anymore versus like, just like this girl you were talking about, oh, I got flown from here last weekend. I'm going to Australia next month. I went here 2 weeks ago. That person's going to appreciate a lot less things when it comes to substantive things than someone who has less money but has their health. Now, I think it gets more dangerous as you age because more people who are older have obviously more health issues. And then you need the medical care even more to be able to sustain your health at that point. But it's a trade-off because obviously you can't work out every day all the time. You have to make some kind of money. You have to post that post. You have to go to work. You can't just be one-sided. But if I were to have one or the other, if I was be either like basically no money, living paycheck to paycheck, like most people are anyway, and be fit versus having $1 million and being 300 pounds my whole life, no matter what. Even if I was driving a GTR, I wouldn't be able to experience it. I would be unhappy just sitting in myself. I wouldn't be excited to wake up every day. I would be drained just living. And I may make up my life, be like, yeah, me and my brother are going here, we're in Dubai, we're at this club, that club. But at the end of the day, what does it really mean when I'm by myself, when I'm just sitting inside myself? Am I really like, I get to go here and do this and do that, and this is my whole life? Or I'm happy just to be able to breathe. Because when I was fatter, I was like, man, it just sucks sitting here looking at myself, like feeling uncomfortable because I have 5 chins. Like, I don't feel confident to talk to people. I don't feel like I'm somebody. I'm made up of your money. I'm made up of what I'm driving. I'm made up of who I'm around, instead of just being happy enough within myself because of what I've put work in for, because of what I know I'm capable of.
Yeah, and I agree that both are important as well. I think in life there's always going to be something that's more important than the other. So for me, again, I think that if you are, if you do have, the financial amount where you're, great, right? You can support your family, the next generation, then I think that, that's going to be good, because then you could buy the best personal trainer, right? I'm not gonna say buy, but you could hire the best personal trainer, right? You could buy the best weights, the best machines. Technology is going up every year, right? From back in the day where there was just like weights, now there's machines where you could, work out differently. And I think, that if you have money, you can make more opportunities for yourself to be in better shape, right? I think, and then also I agree, it depends on your age, right? As a younger person, right? When I was your age, 22, 18 to 22, I didn't think about the money part of it. I thought just stay in shape, right? I thought staying in shape was great. But then once I started to get some good money, and I started, meeting people and, making these connections and, just making more money. A lot of these events would be at a lot of places where there was either food or alcohol, right? And that was all fine and dandy. But again, I was able to work out to be in better shape. Also, like, it depends on the drive that someone has, right? Someone that, like yourself, that may not have been in great shape when you were younger and then got in great shape like you are now, right? Now you may be able to keep the money and stay in good shape because you already know how it feels to be overweight, right? But there's not a lot of people like that. So I think it depends on the drive that someone has. People that have money sometimes could be more lazier when it comes to working out, right? And I think people with less money is going to work harder because they're used to working hard, right? But then the goal is to, work smarter, not harder. So I think it depends on a lot of stuff. But I think if you have the money, you have a better chance of making good opportunities for yourself to lose that weight. Right, I think everyone thinks about money. Everyone thinks about, weight and how they look and what shape they want to be in, right? I think the people that have the money could do it. Could buy the stuff that could help them be in the perfect shape. The people that don't have money, right? Once they start getting money, then they're going to live a different lifestyle. And they're going to be presented these new things, and I see them gaining weight faster, personally.
I think what you said and what Ashley Does Fit said is true. Looking at some of the wealthiest people in the world, they're some of the healthiest as well. Money can buy health. I think that's only for the people like you said, and I was thinking like it all takes that person inside. Someone like the person we were talking about earlier, they claim to have the money, right? But they're still in the same shape that they were 10 years ago, if not worse. Mm-hmm. I think it all takes the person who you are inside and what you care about, because I could see it going both ways. People would gain money, and they would also gain weight. If you're like, oh great, I'm in this situation now. Oh great, I'm in this situation now. I can spend money on whatever I want. I can go to this club. I can buy these drinks. I can eat that food. And it doesn't matter because I can just go here, do this, do that, and that's what my happiness is about. But if you are balanced, like she says, you could do both at the same time in the ways that you want to. Like me, I never plan on eating unhealthy again. I was terrible. I don't know if you know this, but for years, that's how I got 300 pounds. My heaviest was 300 pounds. I got that way by eating terribly, by not having good habits, by not choosing to take care of myself like I should have taken care of myself. And that's mentally, and that's also physically. Working out and just the way that I thought about myself was lower than what it should have been than what it is now, because I guess I could say home training, that's just what I was made to care about, is not that kind of stuff. But it really matters on who you are inside, and I think everybody would do better if they had better standards for themselves. I know a lot of people that say, hey, well, what about this person? What about how this person is? Oh, why are you comparing me to them? Oh, it's like, that doesn't matter. That's them. It's like, that's a loser's attitude. That's not how you want to be, because if you can't even go band for band, if you can't even go poses, right? You know how we do the poses? All right, bicep. Okay, no, you know, it like if you don't even have the confidence to do that kind of stuff. Yeah. So if you don't even have the confidence to do that kind of stuff, you're in dire straits. You're not happy just as yourself. Like, you should be able to have the confidence and the happiness and the lightheartedness in yourself to be able to say, hey, I have this much money. I'm trying to get this much money for this reason. Hey, I weigh this much. I want to be this much. Hey, I've never had striations in my back or abs. I want that. And it's good to do that instead of like, why do you compare me to these fit people? It's like, that's a loser's mentality. So I think it really takes somebody that really cares about themselves to be able to be balanced. And with the world is how it is, I think a lot of people like myself have been used to giving care to other people instead of really focus on me. My brother says I'm selfish, which I would which I would agree. But I think that's because I've been in a situation many times throughout my life that I didn't really care about myself like I should have. I was putting more care into other people that didn't even want me to care about them. Family members, friends, girlfriends. And it's like, that all should have been put on me. But because we're so used to like, oh, I want to care for someone else's kid. I want to, I'm not going to talk to my close relative. I'm going to talk to their child. It's like, so a person that's closer to you in relation, you're not caring about them, but you're going to care about somebody else that is your child. That's just backwards. And a lot of people live their life backwards, messed up, not right. But that's my opinion. People can live however the hell they want to live. I just think that what's best for people is not always what they decide for themselves. And I wish that everybody is just happy, healthy, and living good. But that's not realistic. We can't have that and have a functioning society. There needs to be people at the bottom, in the middle, and at the top. And the people at the top that you don't even know about, people that you don't even see, but I bet you it's taking a lot of focus for the people to get up here. Now, people here, I'm sure they just, I'll just do this. I'll just do that. It doesn't really matter. I'm just living. I think you should be happy wherever you're at. There's no use for people to be sad or distraught, wanting things to change, but never actually putting the pencil to paper or the words to actions to actually make those things happen. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I have a lot of questions about that, right? So the top, the middle, and the higher up, right? I think, again, the higher ups can buy stuff to lose weight, to get in shape, to get that excellent workout, right? I think people from the bottom are used to being at the bottom. Mm-hmm. Once they get to the middle, and then once they get to the high class, they're going to experience more things in life. And I guarantee that would be food, because if they, weren't able to buy what they wanted, now they can buy anything they want, food's going to be an option that they're going to explore. They may have more meetings, they may have businesses where, it's not active. So I can see someone from the bottom getting up so high, gaining weight. But I think if you were born into money, right, which some people are, and let's say they get to a point where they're out of shape, their mentality is like, hey, I could lose it, right? I have all this money where I could buy weights, I could, hire someone to, train me, and you could hire specific people, right? You could join marathons. Like, there's so many different ways to get in shape, where I think it's going to be harder to become that millionaire, that billionaire, right? That's going to take a lot of work. So a lot of people are going to take the easier route.
Which is what?
The easier route is going to be not getting in shape, right? And then also, I think you got to think about it from a family perspective too. Working out can sometimes be selfish, right? Are you spending time with your family? Are you I think so. I think I have a daughter, right? So me having a child,
which we love very much,
which I love very, very much, right? Me having a child, I want to be able to have money to buy her things and let her join the soccer, the jiu-jitsu, the gymnastics, right? Go to a bilingual school, right? Learn Spanish. Like, having that money is going to be important to me, right? That way I can have her join sports, and then she's going to learn how to be fit while also making money, right? So I think having money could be great for yourself, could be great for your family. I think, we're thinking of health and, what is better, health or wealth, right? I think health is great. I think it's important, but I think wealth is great for a generation, right? You can make a generation great. You can show generations what they could use to work out, how life could be with money, how you can have money and still, buy the important things, to eat good, to work out, right? But I think if you come from the bottom and you don't have money, and then you start to get money, your mindset isn't going to be the same as a millionaire who's trying. So once the bottom starts to think, okay, right, I can start doing more with my life, right? Their mind is going to change. Where the millionaire is like, I already know I can do more with my life. I'm going to change the way I want to change it. If that's getting in better shape, that's going to be easier for them. So, again, I think just to rationalize it all up, getting in shape is healthy, it's important, right? But if you're in shape and you don't have money, the better thing to do is to make sure that your money's right? Do what you can. I work from home, right? So I'm in a chair all day, working, making money, and making a decent amount of money, right? And I'm able to support, myself and my family. And, I could do things, and buy things and hire things to get me in the best shape that I want to get. If I didn't have that money, I wouldn't have those opportunities, right? And then when I start to get money, because again, I was poor before, I was in a shelter. Once I started to get money, right, I started gaining weight. You know that, right? Like, once I started to gain money, I started to gain, weight because I was doing things with these big meetings and executive meetings and flying and traveling and all this stuff, right? But I know that I could get in shape because I have the time, I have the money. But again, someone that doesn't have anything, I don't even think they're, thinking big picture wise.
I think no.
It's probably church phone.
I was going to say that I know that it has to do with your upbringing, because if you, from a young age, just handed a lot of stuff, you don't really get the perspective that someone who wasn't handed a lot of things has. I know people, more than one, that are mid-20s, late 20s, early 30s, and they have never, they physically peaked in high school. And that, to me, that's not really a flex, because, just for me, I feel like you're really young in high school. You're still developing, you're still growing into the full body that you're going to have. And when you put years into working out, eating correctly, cardio, stretching, this and that, you're going to be a lot more solid of a person than if you are just 18, 19, 16, 15, whatever years old. A lot of times you're not focused, you're going to class, you're thinking about college, you're thinking about friends, you're thinking about drinking and this and that, whatever it is. So you're not really solidified in who you are or who you want to be. Versus someone like me, I went from extreme to extreme. I, for years, would just eat exorbitant amounts of garbage.
So I think we should show them who we were, right? So me... And this is a picture you agree that, I looked like I was in really good shape, right?
You were fit.
So this is me being in really good shape, right?
And how old were you?
And I had to have been 21 because I was probably drinking and going to the bars, right? That was me in good shape, but I didn't have the money that I had now. Nowhere even close to what I have now, right? And I was thinking small. Right, I was thinking keep my body in shape, right? Work here, work there. I wasn't thinking career-wise, right? So I was in great shape, but my money wasn't where it should be. And once I started to gain money and make more money, my life started to change. My lifestyle started to change, right? I had less time to work out, and you may not agree with that. Like, you know, you could always make time to work out, but, you know, I feel like I didn't have as much time to work out. I was trying to make money, right, and do the best I can with making money. I think that looks weird. But again, once I started making money and once I started, you know, to have a family, I realized that having the money was important. Having the money was important so I could buy things, and eventually, again, if I feel like, you know, I want to get in great shape, I have the money, the time, and the energy to do it. Where, again, when I was in that picture I just showed, right, I wasn't thinking the big picture. I wasn't thinking money. I was thinking more of survival and what I needed in the moment, right? So I think it's better to be wealthy than healthy. And again, I think health is important, but one has to be more important than the other. I think wealthy is important. You'll have more opportunities to do everything you want than just being healthy, right? That's a great thing, but what is it going to do for everyone around you? It seems like it may only be good for yourself, right? And taking care of yourself is great, right? But if you had the money, you could do more in life for more people. You could buy a gym, right? And have people go there and work out and all this stuff. But if you're the only one healthy, right, good for you. But imagine if you had the money. You could do a lot more, and then you can start working out and getting in better shape because you have everything that you need.
I would say that both are important. Both extremes are great, but
show them your picture.
Money talks.
Oh, you can't.
Money talks, right? Like, if you see if I see a GTR rolling down the road, I'd be like, that's a GTR. Like, an actual physical response comes from me seeing that, or seeing an attractive person. A physical response comes from that. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was in LA Fitness with two people close to me, and I saw a dude that I could see his abs through his shirt. And that was the first time I ever seen that. I was like, wow. Now imagine if that was me, right? Like, and it's not even, to me, you could break it down in many different ways. There's the vanity aspect of it. Oh, look at me. Oh, look at that. I'm beautiful, right? But then there's also, how do I actually just feel waking up every morning? How do I actually just feel being alive? I look miserable there. Yeah. But how do I just feel living life? That's more important to me every day than just, oh, look at me, look at how people treat me. But you do get treated differently when you look better. People care about what you have to say when you look good. People respect you more. People want to hear what you have to say. People will take advice from you more. Imagine if I had a gym, right, but I'm 400 pounds. Hey guys, let's work out. Oh, get in shape. And here I am. Nobody's going to care about what I have to say, really, because I'm just not really serious about myself.
I disagree.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I think that's wild that you would say that. Imagine, I'm not saying that you can't learn something from somebody that's not in the place that you want to be at, but it's motivational to me to see people where I want to be or to see the things I want to achieve. If I never cared about a GTR, just, oh my God, there's a $60,000 car. It doesn't really matter to me as much as an actual deeper meaning in between it, the story behind it. So money says something, but how you live every day of your life has to do with your health and your body. I think, like I said, if you just had to pick one to go balls to the wall in, which this is theoretical, right? I would say that perfect health is better than $100K a year for the rest of your life, because what do you really get to do with it? Yeah, you may go here, there, do this, do that, buy this, see these people, but my day-to-day, just, it's good to be in perfect health. That's going to be a lot more enjoyable for me, at least, than like, I'm going here. I get to do this. Like, look at me and my $800 car payment. What's that really mean?
I like to comment. When you say, like, hey, if someone was 400 pounds and they had a gym, and they said, like, good job, like you say, it would motivate you, right? But, you know, I watch a lot of sports, and these coaches are out of shape, right? Like, they're heavier than their players, but their players listen to them, right? Like, I don't think it depends on your weight, on who motivates you or who doesn't. Again, I think many sports that we watch, the coaches usually not in the greatest shape, right? But the players still listen to them. And I think that's because they have the education, right? They've had the money to learn everything they needed to learn to coach a team. So I don't think people that aren't in great shape can't motivate you. I also think, you know, just being big on football, that football players lose more weight when they're done playing football, right? So I think football players are usually like heavy, bulky, right? Just super
Beefcake.
beef, right? Like strong. And, you know, they're getting millions and millions of dollars, right? Now, when they stop playing, those millions of dollars stop, right? And they're getting in better shape, right? Because at the end of the day, they've already experienced the money. They've already experienced the fame, right? Now we're done with that. They have more time to focus on themselves and get in better shape, right? Now imagine if those people were not getting millions of dollars, right? And they were just, you know, in the shape that wasn't good or wasn't healthy. Do you still think that they're going to be the best version of them that they could be? I would say no. They never had the money to be the best version of them that they could be. But because football players do get the money and they are in, you know, somewhat decent shape, when they stop playing, they lose weight and they get in better shape. And the money is already there because they've had it throughout their career. That's my take on it. And we should probably wrap this up in a couple minutes because of your phone.
I think it's a good point to wrap up, but I mean, it seems like we agreed on some points, disagreed on some other points, but I would say that while both play a role in living a happy, fulfilled life, I think that money is a set thing, right? There's not a lot of billionaires in the world. There's not even a lot of millionaires in the world. I don't think that millionaires go above 5% in the world of people that exist. And I think you could still live a very good, vast, enjoyable life where you splurge on some things even though you're not a millionaire. Even though to a lot of people, $1 million+ is what it would take to really be solid, because people like to spend on this and that and such. Look at the people who win the lottery. Most percent of the time, they're broke within 10, 20 years. So money is something that doesn't really always last, but it is something that can change. You know, you can go from, like I said, being high on the hog. Plus, look at football players, NBA players. People go from being up and they go down as well. Versus if you have a good, not just good physique, but if you're healthy, if you can walk, no broken bones, you know, like you don't have terrible just ailments wrong with you, I think that sets you up to be at a better position than if you just are used to getting money.
No, we're talking about health and wealth.
Right.
We're not talking about necessarily money. Wealth is something that you keep. You're wealthy, right? Just like health is healthy. So we can't just say money. There's a lot more that comes into wealth. So I think that is incorrect to just talk about money. Just like healthy isn't just eating good. So I think if we talk about our debate, you can't base it off of money. Wealth means a lot of different things.
So wealth to you is someone that is going to remain in a good financial spot. They're never worried about paying for anything for the rest of their life.
If we're talking about financial wealth,
yes,
then yes, that means that they're in a place where they can take care of generations, right? Like when they leave, their kids are going to be okay. So, and again, we're talking about financial wealth. I believe that money isn't going to go away anytime soon.
An abundance of valuable possessions or money. The state of being rich, material prosperity. plentiful supplies of a particular resource. It doesn't necessarily mean like...
It doesn't say money, though.
But it doesn't mean that it's like forever there. Like...
It doesn't say that it's not going to be forever there.
So tulips sold at one point, I think, for, I want to say millions of dollars. Probably cap, but I know at least for thousands and thousands of dollars. Just a tulip bulb. So someone would be able to say, oh, you have all these tulip bulbs, you're wealthy, right? Because you're in possession of goods that are worth this amount of money. But fast forward a year, those tulip bulbs are worth nothing. Mm-hmm. So like I said, I think that you can lose wealth. I think that you can gain wealth easily is a strong word. I think that it's doable. For the vast majority of people, they're not going to be wealthy just by waking up and boom, they're wealthy. It's going to take an arduous process of specifically trying to get wealthy a specific way for probably years to be able to get that point. But
and it's going to be hard to lose that. Wealth, you can't just lose overnight. Money, you could. Wealth, you can't. So with these tulips, right, the person that you're talking about had a lot of money. If they weren't able to sustain that, then I don't know if I would consider them wealthy. Wealthy is something you got to keep. You know, wealthy's, to me, it's just like, wealthy to me is just something that you have to keep. It's going to be there forever, right? A tattoo, it's going to be there forever.
So according to Google, for many people, retiring from full-time work means living on a smaller income and making sacrifices, but wealthy people stay wealthy in retirement with some careful planning. Business Insider. So it's not like you just, oh, I got this money and I'm going to be rich forever.
That proves my point, though. Wealth is something that they keep after they're done.
With some careful planning. Most people aren't careful.
So wealthy people were establishing as not careful? Because I think people that are wealthy have to be careful to keep wealth.
There are people who have been in the NFL, who've been in the NBA, who've had millions of dollars that are now homeless.
Would you consider them wealthy?
Yeah, they were at one point, they had an abundance, like the definition says.
Of money?
Yes, they had an abundance of money.
That's not wealth.
We just looked up the definition of wealth. Wealthy families often have a clear plan in place for managing their wealth and making financial decisions. I would say most people don't do that. I mean, at least in this generation, a lot of people that I know just go, oh, I want these tattoos. Oh, I want this makeup. Oh, I want this outfit. And they live in an apartment. They've lived in an apartment their whole lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think wealth is something that you have to maintain. You know, I think it's something that you have to maintain. So, like, you could say Trump is wealthy, right? How long has he maintained that wealth that he's had? He has Trump Towers and everything, right? Now, although I don't agree with many things that he does, I will say he's a wealthy man, right? Now, let's say, there's a basketball player that was on the Cavaliers with LeBron. He had all this money and then he lost it. Right? Like super soon, like within 5 years. I don't know if I can say he was wealthy. I can say he had a lot of money. I may even say he was rich, but I'm not going to say he was wealthy. Wealth is something that stays with you. I think it's something that you can see in people, right? I think wealth is something where people do something, you're like, oh, they're going to be here for a long period of time. I think people that are rich and have money, you can see how they spend and be like, oh, they're not wealthy.
You just said the state of being rich, you said.
Mm-hmm.
So wealth is the state of being rich. Material prosperity.
But what is rich in this definition?
To me, rich...
To you, right? To you.
To me, rich is you have 10 million bucks that you could move around. Rich definition. Having a great deal of money. Okay, what is a great deal? Rich number of money. An annual income of $500,000 or more. Those people make over $500,000.
Who?
The people playing football, people playing basketball. make over $500,000 a year?
We're not gonna say everyone, but we'll say stars.
So, do you think that there's been NBA players that have made millions a year
In a year, yes.
and are now broke?
Are we talking just off of NBA or just all their assets? Either way, yes. I think there are NBA players that have made millions.
So they've been rich, and now, I mean, they've also been wealthy because based on the definition of wealthy, they've been in abundance. We went definition by definition, and apparently to be wealthy, you need to make $500,000 or more.
This is money-wise. I don't think money is So why is it the definition of wealth have the word money in it?
I said, no. Okay, so do you want me to look up what rich means? The state of being rich. Material prosperity.
Look up money and let me know if it says anything in there about wealthy. Because you keep talking about money.
You can have money without wealth.
You can have money without wealth. Correct. But that means you don't have wealth. What you're talking about is money. I'm talking about wealth. Wealth is something that stays.
The state of being rich. So at one point, those people on TV were in a state of being rich. They had wealth. They were wealthy. What does rich mean? Making $500,000 a year or more. Would you agree with that definition? If you're making $500K a year, are you rich?
It depends on a lot of things. What you own, like what the bills are, right? Like,
so
you got $500K. You can make $500K a year and have $400K in bills.
I remember you said a friend that you had does cyber stuff, and you said that he was rich.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he makes
cyber stuff?
Cyber stuff. Do you remember this person that I'm talking about? You went to their house and it was beautiful, I think.
I told you about it today, or
no? It was probably a few months ago. But you said that you knew this guy that does cyber stuff. Cyber security, I believe. And you said he makes.
Okay.
I don't know how much you said he makes, but you said, oh, he's got a nice this, he's got all these cars, da da da.
Right.
So do you think he makes what, double $500K, or you think he
probably makes $500K?
But you said he was rich before.
Right. So rich, if rich is $500K, right? But his bills are $100K. He has $400K of money to himself.
And is that a rich person to you? A year. So $400,000 over 3 years. That's
of income
12.
For just profit. Yes, I think
that's over $1 million in 3 years.
Right, of just profit. No bills, no nothing taken away from this amount of money. Right. Again, if you have $1 million and your bills are worth $1 million, are you rich?
No, but what I'm saying is. Richness, wealthiness can be taken away easily. You can be in financial despair quick, right? The people who had a lot of money in 2007, right? The crash of 2008 came and, oh shit, my money's gone. But I bet the people who were healthy, as majority, right? The people who were healthy in 2007, next year their health didn't just plummet down the drain just because they didn't have as much money. Of course, it maybe took some hits because they may have not had their job anymore, but.
Tell me the name of someone who's wealthy that lost everything. Because I told you Trump. Trump has been wealthy for a long period of time. So.
Trump has also filed bankruptcy before.
Right, but how much money does he have now? Does he still have money? Has Trump ever been in the state where he had nothing?
Nothing's a strong word. I doubt.
Where he had less than 20,000. Where he had less than 100,000.
I doubt. I mean, maybe, but I doubt it.
Okay.
But Trump.
So Trump is wealthy because he always is going to come back to have a large sum of money in his accounts. He has different revenues of money coming in. So he may have filed for bankruptcy, but I guarantee you, just like Kanye, I think filed for bankruptcy, but then became a billionaire, right? So he went from nothing to a millionaire, filed bankruptcy, and then became a billionaire. He kept income coming in, right? Then he lost it all again, but, I still don't think he is not going to get that money back. He's a smart person, and I think he's going to stay wealthy for a very long time.
I think that's because he's a famous person.
So you think fame has to deal... So Trump to me, I didn't think was famous in, let's say, like he's been wealthy since the 80s, I believe, right? I didn't know Trump's name probably until the 2000s. I was born in 86, right? I probably didn't know about Trump's name until 2000s. And I probably didn't even really know him until he tried to run for presidency.
Do you think that Trump would be do you think that Trump would be as rich as he is now without the fame?
As rich as he is right now, I don't know, but he would still be considered rich because he was rich but without the fame.
Right, but
like for years, for decades.
Right, but who you are as a person translates echoes that you don't understand. So I think that fame helped, like, I can't name a famous person that's just dead broke. Why? Because they're famous.
But you just told me you could. You said, hey, I know people that have had lots of money that, now have nothing. And I could say they were wealthy.
Okay, I would say that Trump is more famous than I'm not going to say, maybe any NBA player.
What?
Yeah, Trump is maybe more famous than any NBA player.
Any?
Any's a strong word, but...
Okay.
I mean, talk about the people who are broke now. Trump is more famous than those people. Kanye is more famous than those people. Right? The people who...
But you can't give me a name. I've given you names. You have to...
Obviously, I don't know them for a reason, right?
Right. But now you got to do research. So you're researching something where we're just having a debate.
Bro.
And I'm spitting information to you, but you have to look into it.
Okay, Darius Miles. Let's see.
Do you know Darius Miles?
I don't know Darius Miles.
I don't know Darius Miles. So we're going to look at someone we don't know.
Okay. Glenn Rice, Larry Johnson, Derek Coleman, Sean Kemp, Vin Baker, Latrell Sprewell. But I think it's clear that
we don't look at broken NBA players. Maybe look at wealthy NBA players that became broke. But like to me, wealth has to last for a significant amount of time.
So apparently, Darius Miles made $62 million his career. It's a lot of money.
Darius Miles.
Glenn Rice made $67 million.
Glenn Rice sounds familiar.
Is one of the most decorated NBA players with an NBA championship and three All-Star appearances. Unfortunately, after his playing years, Rice struggled with his retirement. In 2016, reports claimed that Rice struggled to pay child support, which demanded $1,500 monthly. He also suffered from his own share of failed investments. In order to deal with his retirement, Rice lived off autograph signings. See the fame? Autograph signings and training camps. Fortunately, Rice looks to be in a better situation today. Rice has two Glenn blah 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 professional basketball players.
We're on a live. I feel like you're not reacting to the live.
Larry Johnson. I feel like nobody's commented since.
Right, but this is still documented information, right?
Yeah. So, can buy health. That's what she said.
So again,
Do you think that Ronnie Coleman would be wealthy now if he was not famous?
Who?
Ronnie Coleman.
Who's Ronnie Coleman?
I think he won Mr. Olympia 8 times. The bodybuilding show, the most, bodybuilding show.
Okay, so what's the question? Do I think he's what?
Do you think that he would be wealthy now if it was not for his name, Ronnie Coleman?
I mean, I don't even know his name, right? So do I think he would be wealthy now if it wasn't for his name? I mean, personally, I don't know this name, so I don't know if I can answer that question.
Okay, John Cena. Let's just say he worked an office job. Would he be as rich as he is now without people knowing his name? Come on now.
I mean, so John Cena was the nobody, right? So his name wasn't always important. John Cena started to make money, and then because of, let's say the fame, he started to make more money. But he made money with his name being a nobody at some point. So if he goes back to being a nobody, right? Like in wrestling, he was completely absent. Once he started to make, really good money, and then he started to do movies. But movies take a while to even make. So he may be absent from the scene for a very long time. So his name isn't being heard. Is he still making money without his name being talked about? Yes, I think so. Once you learn how to get money, you should learn how to keep it. That should be the next step of learning. Should.
Just I feel
that's what makes wealthy versus not wealthy. That's what makes wealthy versus rich to me.
Next time, I think we should definitely bring somebody else to opine on these conversations. But I think I think we still disagree. I would say we shared some valid points. I think Ashley Daz Fit said some good points as well. Without money, obviously, you can't really maintain any sort of health because you can't pay for shit that you need. And with more money comes more opportunities to be even more healthy. But a lot of people with money, I'm not going to say extreme amounts because there's definitely some outliers, people that care about both at the same time, but there's a lot of people with money that don't value their body as much as they value their money. When I think it should be an equal. You should get the money, okay, boom, invest in self. But that's not what a lot of people do. A lot of people piss it away. But that's why it's up to people like you and me to do better. I mean,
but it's hard. I mean, if you get money, you're gonna want to blow it on something. You're right. Like you want to buy a car, right? Like
a GTR.
That's your thing. So if you get money, you know, when you say like they're gonna piss it away, I think that's a normal reaction to getting money if you didn't have it. But then I think you got to come to the point of, okay, I need to get myself right now. So
I mean, I think that people spend the money on different stuff. Like you can go to the club and buy a table. Okay, I think that there may be people that will appreciate you and be, oh, this guy bought a table, $10K he spent, versus this guy came from nothing and then has a GTR. It's like, huh? And then you take that GTR with you everywhere you go. It becomes who you are, in a sense, not just one night I spent all this money on these friends of mine in this table.
See, to me, that's rich. Wealth is if you go in and you get a table, how do you take care of the people working there, the service you were provided, right? Because let's say you had that great experience, you could come back no problem, right? Let's say if you went there and just destroyed the place. Do you think they're going to let you go back there even though you have a lot of money?
But that's nothing to do with how you treat people. Wealth does not have anything to do with how you treat people.
You don't think so?
No. You can be wealthy and be a piece of crap.
I think that's like a very, very low percentage. I think in order to keep wealth, people run the world, right? Because we're so involved with everything. Let's say people weren't involved in anything, then it'd be hard for anyone to keep wealth. I think people is one of the foundations of wealth, right? Because when we talk about having your generation stay wealthy, right, it has to deal with people. So how you treat people, I think, is one of those foundations of being wealthy. But you don't know how to treat people, so that's why you don't think that.
No, I mean, some people care about me, obviously.
Care about you, but do you treat them well?
It all depends. Do they interpret well as calling them terrible things?
That already means no. If you say it all depends, right? Like, okay. If you're a good person, you're a good person. If you're not, you're not.
Maybe the next podcast conversation should be, am I a good person? Or like, does your past make you who you are today, right? If you said, me, Lucius Dane Fletcher, crashed his car, smoked weed for years, didn't really, just has been in juvie, right? Got arrested at like 13, has had the police call them in hundreds of times, right? If you say that, it's like, is this a good person? Someone would be like, no, it's a terrible person because of these things, but
let's
that's
talk
not
facts.
The reality of it.
This guy's 22 and has, several brothers and sisters that are all older than him by decades. And he says he's the smartest one in the family. Also, this guy also said if me and another brother of ours were to be in a fight to the life and death, that he would be able to kill both of us.
In a field, specify.
In a field. And me and our other brothers already said, like, hey, we would attack you, right? Like, so the comments that he makes him feel, it makes it seem like he thinks he's God, right? And he's just better than us. What did you say? You said, everything I think is always right. It always comes true. You said that.
Whoa.
You said, remember the court? Like I told you. See, if everything that I usually think is always right. this guy,
have I been proven wrong?
is he a good person or not? Based off of the facts, right? The things that he says to other people, which he was trying to say, like, does that mean I'm a good person if I tell people, like terrible things? This is the guy that says he's a good person. He wants to have a career that involves other people and, wants to be a leader, but his logic is he's doing it all for himself. He wants the outcome for himself, but he wants to lead a group of men. Is that a good person? In order to lead, you have to care about the people you're leading. That's a good leader. But if you're doing it just to get the outcome that you want, is that a good leader?
Self-proclaimed selfish person here.
So, when you say that could be the next podcast, I'm perfectly fine with it. But I would never agree that we could consider you a good person with the actions that you have decided to take in your life, especially from 18 to 22.
Don't forget the dog. I didn't want to tell him how we died.
Also,
it doesn't matter. The dog is dead.
Also, this guy, has, our father that he doesn't like, right?
I wish he would do better.
Who got removed from a situation, and his dog was left there. And within 2 to 3 weeks of our father leaving the area, he took this dog on a walk and it died. Already knowing he didn't care about our father, right? He didn't care about the dog. He says it wasn't his fault. And he said the dog died by his own. And he was the only person that saw this dog die, right?
False. So, David was a witness.
Who?
David?
He was there when you were walking the dog, because you said the dog died because you walked it. So if he's a witness, that means he saw you walk the dog and walk the dog back. And then he agrees that the dog died on its own.
Yes.
This guy...
If I could call David right now and say, David, appear. He literally told me, he's like, just, things happen. It's not your fault. You try to have the dog be healthy, which I try to do, right? I didn't say, let me walk this dog to the point that it dies. I said, let me try to be nice to the dog, have it be healthy because it's overweight, obese, it doesn't get outside the house. And actually...
How's that being nice to the dog if the dog doesn't want that?
And actually, our father had been known to treat the dog badly. So I wanted it to be in a better situation so that the house would be better,
So, years of custody of our father having this dog, the dog lived. 2 to 3 weeks of our father being removed from a situation, the dog dies in this man's hands. Like, this man's doing. I think that's very, very ironic that a dog that's lived for years and has been in the same house for years, as soon as one person is removed from that house, you say you want the dog to be healthy, you want the dog to do this, so you took the dog for a very long walk without water because you said you had to go back and get water. The dog was overweight, you saw the dog panting, and you don't think the death of that dog was your fault.
Nope.
Very interesting.
Let's say that you are fucking a girl, right?
We're getting off topic. Like, it was so good. It was so good until we got right here.
And you have a heart attack, right?
Yeah.
Is it the girl's fault that you had a heart attack? You say, Stacy, you killed my brother. Or his heart was not in a good spot. He was doing something that maybe he wasn't prepared for, and his heart exploded inside his chest.
But let's not forget that person wants that intercourse. He said he wanted to do what was best for the dog. The dog never asked for a walk. The dog never seemed like it wanted to walk. The dog started panting to a point where the dog died. So with the sex thing, that was 2 consensual things. This dog, in the decision that he made, murdered a dog. And he knows that he tells people and things what to do because he thinks he has the best outcome for that person, even though a dog died during the process. I think we should have